Hello, my darlings. I'm excited to give you the story. Why? Well, I started writing it last week and forgot about it. So this is officially the first time a story took me more than a day to write. Mostly because I forgot about it, but hey, yay! I'm still really proud of this one, and I hope you enjoy it. This one is another rendition of Tomura Shigaraki gets completely dominated by listener. The last time I wrote something like that, you really enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed getting a lot of views on that video. So why don't we repeat that? To ensure that we get a repeat of that, please remember to watch the video until the end, like or dislike, and comment something down below. This way you can push the video in the YouTube algorithm. You can also share the video around on Twitter, TikTok, whatever other social media you're on, share it there. Be annoying. I allow you to be annoying. I officially take responsibility for you being annoying to other people about my videos. Please be annoying to other people about my videos. I mean, other YouTubers are doing it. Why aren't you doing it? Please help the guy out. Also, I also appreciate fan art. I find it rather interesting that people ask me, hey, what's your stance on fan art? I'm a YouTuber. I love fan art. Stop asking and just do it. I have a Discord. You can post your fan art there. So if I like it, you can immediately see my reaction to it. Okay, that's it for the intro, and let's get right into the show. General Ballistics was one of Germany's primary supplier of firearms, and one of the few companies that supplied the global defense effort, and the German military, including Schicksal, with the newest innovations in both war and defense. Both Knights and Valkyries, the quirkless heroes of the European country, as well as regular pros, relied on the manufacturer for their tools and gadgets. And today, you, a representative of General Ballistics, would meet the boss of one of Japan's most irritating organizations, Tomura Shigaraki, the leader of the League of Villains. The company had a motto: a safer future for all of mankind. But its owner's motto was different. Any publicity is good publicity. And he wanted a slice of the pie that was the Japanese market. So he took a gamble. And this gamble was about to pay off. Your associates managed to get you a meeting with the notorious villain in an abandoned warehouse at the edge of the Dagoba district. You were confident, knowing that agents of the company were set up around the perimeter. Wearing a business casual outfit, a simple two-piece black suit with a golden company pin, earrings with the General Ballistics logo on them, black leather boots with high heels that made a satisfying noise whenever you stepped over a hard surface, and of course, a simple black folder with all the necessary paperwork. It was difficult to contain your smirk as you laid eyes upon the villain. The warehouse had been stripped of everything. Only a single light illuminated the only 3 pieces of furniture in the large hall. Shigaraki's eyes widened unintentionally as he watched you approach. He expected some overweight German with a god complex, but not a beautiful young woman like you. After sitting down, you immediately crossed your legs, placing the folder square on the table, giving him an amused chuckle. Mr. Shigaraki, I assume? Correct. You tapped the folder with a finger. This document has all the information we are willing to share on this deal. He gulped audibly. Straight to business, I see. You put a hand under your chin. Mr. Shigaraki, we will be working together rather closely over the coming months. I'm sure there will be opportunities to not talk business, But that only happens if that document gets signed by your organization. He made an unidentifiable noise. Your Japanese was pretty much perfect. With shaking hands, he stretched out his... With shaking hands, he reached for the folder. Why was he feeling so afraid? Well, he didn't know it yet, but that was the result of your quirk, absolute authority. It gave you an aura of dominance over people you talk to. While you yourself were a pleasant person to be around, your quirk had forced you into becoming whatever the hell you turned into. The villain began reading. In short, with the signing of this document, we will begin to lose certain shipments that just so happen to land in the hands of the League of Villains. Shigaraki cleared his throat.
I see.
Tomura was taken completely off guard. Kurogiri had set up this meeting, and kept most of it, if not all information, to himself. As the shadowy man had put it,
Tomura Shigaraki, if you wish to take control, you need to stop relying on me to be the voice of reason.
He hated that no one was here to back him up. Mostly as a result from your absolute authority over him. In return, you said after a minute of silence, for essentially being supplied factory new weapons, tools, armors, and prototype hero support items, you will only use weapons, armors, and pro hero support items produced by General Ballistics for the foreseeable future. Shigaraki scratched the back of his head.
But what's in for you?
You chuckled. Any publicity is good publicity, Mr. Shigaraki. Besides, once your criminal organization proves the superiority of our product, other villain organizations would want to use our tools of destruction. He leaned back in his chair, overwhelmed with questions.
What about the public?
You licked your lips with an amused smile. Of course, when the rumors start, our shipments will begin to be targeted. A battle no villain organization would win, as we have the ability to deploy Valkyries and Knights on our ships. Shigaraki's eyes widened.
How deep does this rabbit hole go?
Once again, you chuckled. This was really amusing to you. General Ballistics is the #1 supplier of ammunition for the global defense effort in Schicksal. When you get shot by a Valkyrie, that bullet was made by us. Suddenly, Shigaraki grinned smugly.
What if I refuse? I mean, I read that document. I know pretty much everything.
You snapped your fingers, and less than a second later, a sniper bullet shot through one of the warehouse windows, mere millimeters away from Shigaraki's nose. He felt as if his heart stopped for a second, realizing this had been a setup, and finally understanding that this really was not an offer he could refuse. He didn't know why, but somehow this entire situation was turning him on, which he caught on to. While he looked at the bullet hole next to him, you had quickly loosened the top 2 buttons on your suit to show just a bit more cleavage. When his attention returned to you, he blushed. While he didn't notice that you opened up your suit a little, he did notice that he was instantly more attracted to you. He was thinking, or at least trying to think, with all those distractions around him. Why would Kurogiri try to set something like this up? You tapped the table impatiently. And finally, an idea came to him. A desperate idea, admittedly.
I want better terms,
he said, thinking he sounded intimidating. You snorted, then cleared your throat in embarrassment. My apologies, Mr. Shigaraki, but what could you possibly want more of? You get military-grade materials, essentially for free. He growled.
Tell me, Dollface, what is the real reason behind this? Or you need to talk to a different villain organization. One that is less talked about than ours, making your stupid gear wasted.
You chuckled. He was both right and wrong at the same time. In reality, whichever faction got the precious General Ballistics donation would rise above and beyond. The League of Villains was simply there for a little initial boost to start off. Money. Money, 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 you said. Schicksal would pay us more if their prototype battlesuits would be in danger, so we can defend it better. And the global defense effort has legally binding contracts with us. They couldn't change weapon manufacturers even if they wanted. And why would they, really? He scratched over his head one more time. Also, Dollface? You had to admit, that stung. Your ex-boyfriend had called you that, and you hated him for daring to leave you. Shigaraki sunk low in his chair.
I apologize, ma'am.
You bit your lower lip. Seeing him squirm like that was now making you a little hot and bothered. Fine, you said almost seductively. I make you a better deal, Mr. Shigaraki. He gulped. We're going to add a personal contact clause to the deal. Your lips perked up into a smirk.
What does that mean?
Simple. I will remain in Japan. I have all my things delivered, and we will work very closely together, so there are no questions as to which crates you are allowed to take from us. You leaned a bit forward, his eyes immediately darting downwards.
Those are...
He was about to say something really, really stupid. He knew it was stupid, but he still did it regardless.
2 really great arguments.
3 weeks later, you were dressed in a black cocktail dress, entering into a beautiful restaurant. Shigaraki was draped around your arm like a living accessory. Together, you were guided upstairs into the VIP area. The villain was gnawing his teeth nervously. After being sat down at one of the tables, he finally spoke up.
It's been a while since I could do something like this.
You gave an amused hum. I have to admit, you said. Mr. Schröder, the owner of General Ballistics, seems to have a bit of a gambling addiction. I would have chosen a different location for this meeting. Shigaraki blinked, not realizing that right now you were the gambler here. Of course, if he wasn't so goddamn adorable, this thought wouldn't even have come to you, but the image of him squirming in his seat hasn't left your mind yet. And honestly, you hated him for a little for that.
Like what?
I was thinking of a shady motel with a dirty bed and a sniper positioned outside. You now looked at the menu of the place. I mean, it would be cheaper than this ghastly menu. I mean, hiring a professional hitman and a cheap motel room would be less expensive than this ghastly high-class menu. Shigaraki made a noise, trying to not laugh at your dumb comment. And you loved that. After ordering your meals, Shigaraki impatiently tapped his fingers on the table.
So, about this weapon deal. When?
You gave him the details, but left out a few things on purpose, so you would need to ask. You worded yourself in an attempt to keep the conversation alive, at least until dessert. And when you left the restaurant with him 3 hours later, you had managed to wiggle him around your finger. I got a question. You asked straightforward. My hotel is close by. Would you like to accompany me? He furrowed his brows. Then a light bulb lit up in his head.
Wait, are we?
You snapped your fingers again and he flinched. And finally you allowed yourself to give a hearty and honest laugh. I think I'm going to enjoy doing that. He grumbled. And to get him back on your side, you pressed your lips on his forehead. The kiss only lasted for a second, but it was enough to leave him a blushing mess. His heartbeat racing faster than the drumbeat of a metal song. He was desperate for more, which you were willing to give. If he'd be willing to squirm for you just a tiny bit more. Keep being a good little puppy, and there's more where that came from.